It's insane. You would think, you come here every night, and you think I have answers or I have creative ideas, but sometimes it comes from these guys. There was a time when I was going to get rid of the chalkboards, and I said, I don't know, maybe we need to do something high-tech or something, and it was Oscar that said, no. I think it was something, and I was like, okay, well, that's not good. I think Oscar said something like, his signature. I think you said, you are Mr. Chalkboard. You are a chalkboard. I'm like, I'm all dusty, and that is my signature. It was Oscar to thank for that. Was it, Oscar, you were the one who said also that we should talk to the black community, the black conservatives, and find out what they were saying? It was his idea. We didn't just do one show. We did 2 shows. We followed up with it. It was an amazing, amazing show. Jack was the guy who said, you should have a juggler on. Oh, we did. I don't remember. Do you remember why we had the juggler on? Yeah.
We gave him balls with like inflation and the economy.
Oh yeah, he was juggling all the balls of inflation and everything else, and his idea. I remember it was Jack and Oscar. It was Jack mainly that came up to me after the founding fathers that were African American, and he was angry. Why didn't we know this? Why? There was one time that I was talking to a guest, David Horowitz, about racial profiling by law enforcement. And Jack said to me, that's wrong. We went into a break, right?
Yeah.
And is he mic'd? Can people hear him? No, can't hear him. Okay. So he said, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. But he said, you got to go back and ask him something. And I said, I don't know. You ask him. And he looked at me and said, what? I said, come on, you ask him. So we put him on. Watch. Here's Jack. When we went into the break, Jack and Oscar, and Jack is a sound guy, Oscar runs camera 3 here, they both said to me, he doesn't know what the hell he's even talking about. Yeah. Well, first of all, Jack, you tell me. Why does he have it wrong?
You have it wrong for the simple reason I borrowed my friend's truck. I was pulled over because of a brake light. I said, fine, just give me the ticket and I'll take care of it.
Harry, who is behind camera 2, you can barely see Harry here. Harry has been here. This guy he knows more about the Middle East than I do. He's traveled all over the world. He asked me once during a break why deflation was a bad thing. As I started to explain it, I realized that would make a good segment. We changed the next segment of the show. It'd also bring in all kinds of great examples of propaganda and books that we've used on this program. Did they make a difference? I think so. I think so. And that is the key, that it is not one person dictating down. When you work as a team, when you hire good people, we all have the ability to make the difference. We may not all stand in this light, but if it wasn't for the people behind me, never in the light, well, then we wouldn't really have a good show. When we went on the air with this show, it was, is it over here? Here. This is, I said, here. This is only the 3rd time that I've ever done live television before. It was the day before President Obama's inauguration. This show is linked to this iconic event. We end up now, 29 months later, with the firm reliance on the individual, not the pomp and circumstance, none of that. Somebody said to me a while back, the best negotiating advice I have ever gotten, never negotiate. Make promises. Never threaten. Make promises. Know what you believe and then just state it. I have to tell you, when I was saying that I was going to leave, a lot of people thought I was negotiating. I think even my agent thought I was negotiating at first. He was like, "Oh, that's going to be a good negotiation." I was like, "No, that's it. They're done." You state, you make promises to people. My promise to you, it was my promise to you, that I would stay until the changing of the seasons. Any members of the press that want to know what really happened, I invite you now to go back to the transcripts of this program. No one in my audience is surprised that I'm leaving. Go to glennbeck.com and find out what's ahead for me. But, quick stop, I left breadcrumbs everywhere. I knew what the media would say, and I wanted to make sure no one questioned it. Do we have the videotape from South Dakota? Nope. Someplace, we have it in a vault. I said, about a year ago, maybe a little longer than a year ago, I was in South Dakota, and I tried to say it because I knew nobody from the mainstream press would be there. And I remember I walked off stage, and Joe said to me, Glenn, do you know what you just said? And I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. What I said on stage was, I don't know what the next few months brings to me. I will tell you this, that I don't think it's going to be television. I said it for a reason, because I knew exactly what the press would say. Also on September 30th, I said this on this program. I talked to a trusted friend about 6 months ago, and he gave me, I think, some sage advice. He said, well, where would you run to? I said, I don't know. He said, to everything there is a season. Continue. Continue for a season, because you don't ever run from something. You run to something. But I sense, metaphorically, that the leaves are changing. The seasons are changing. I don't know if we're headed into winter, or I hope into spring. That conversation came with a trusted advisor because I said, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I'm not supposed to be doing this. There's something else I'm supposed to be doing. And he said, well, you can't define it yet. And I said, no, I'm this close. He said, wait a season. You will know. I say these things now because I want you to know, I want the record to be clear. I also want you to know which media organizations you can trust and which one you can't. I also want to make this promise, that they will not hear again, because they didn't hear the message of 828. They won't hear the message of restoring courage in Israel. They won't hear this message now. But for those members of the media who are celebrating, I waited for a season. I know exactly where I'm going. And you will pray for the time when I was only on the air for 1 hour every day. Back in a second. I want to leave you with a couple of messages here tonight. One of them is never ever give up. Never ever listen to the experts. They're usually wrong. Believe in yourself. On this final show here at Fox, we've shown you the spin, the lies, the speculation on the media, that, you know, why I'm leaving, where I'm going, whatever. Find out where I'm going at glennbeck.com right now. I am leaving because, as I said on my radio program this week, I have given up on admiring the problem. I've given up on the problem, in fact. I am focused solely on the solution. They're making their plans. What are you doing? I'm a dad, too. I am not going to wait around and wait for anybody in the media. Nothing's going to change unless you and I roll up our sleeves and we become part of the solution. And part of that is, don't ever allow anyone else, even me and anybody, anyone, tell you what the truth is. Don't allow that. Don't take it as gospel, because it's not gospel. You have to find out for yourself what is true. I didn't run away from something. I'm running to something. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. I was told recently that nobody ever leaves this business. This guy did. He did. Jack Parr, he started The Tonight Show. He did. I don't know why. He might have been crazy, but then again. About 4 months ago, I had made the decision exactly what I was going to do. But it was hard. This is sweet. There's never a bigger platform than the Fox News Channel. Never. There's never a smarter guy I'm going to work with than Roger Ailes. Never. And I live in an apartment here in New York City. I mean, I went apartment hunting with my daughter the other day here in New York. I mean, they're closets. And usually rat-infested closets. I live in a nice apartment here in New York. And it was so surreal because I went home that night after I had seen Spider-Man like the 400th time. And Bono happened to be there. And I was sitting there with my wife at Spider-Man. And understand, I am no different than you. I have never in my life been the cool kid. Ever. Ever. I mean, it was cool to be the cool kid for about 2 minutes. And get a text on my phone, and I just laugh. And I show it to my wife, and we're in the middle of watching the show, and she laughs. And what it said was, Bono's backstage. Would you like to meet him? I just looked at her and I went, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So we went backstage, and afterwards we went home, and we were standing in our apartment. And I had just a second where I'm like, well, now, wait a minute. How do you leave all of this? At this point, I was overlooking the skyline of New York. Now, again, I'm a guy who, I grew up in a small town in Washington. I'm the son of a baker. In my high school yearbook, I wrote in New York City. I think I even wrote Rockefeller Plaza in my yearbook because it was my goal. Now, here I am in New York. Bono, we're hanging out. B-Money and me. Yeah, right. And I said to my wife, how could we leave all of this? How could we do it? Here I am at the pinnacle. There's nowhere else to go from here. How could this be divinely inspired that we leave? We have access. We're throwing this huge platform away. Well, then I got the message of my life. I'll share that with you next. I just said to the staff, this is when it gets hard not to steal a memento from this set. We have so many great things. Honor. That stinks on ice. So I was telling you a story. Here we are, pinnacle of your career, and I'm looking over the skyline. Bono is not on the phone, but I'm pretending that he is. And I'm overwhelmed with a feeling. I'm standing in my living room all by myself. My wife has gone to bed and like, okay, freak boy. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking at this city. And I am overwhelmed with the feeling. If you don't leave now, you will not leave with your soul. As a guy who has traded my soul before, I will not trade it again. Never want anything too much. Never. It will destroy you. It all comes down to this. I learned the hard way who I was. We as a country now have a chance to learn who we are, what we're capable of, what we really truly believe before we're forced to learn it the hard way. Now is the time to be part of the solution. Now is the time to stand up. Now is the time to explore before it gets bad. Now is the time to prepare so you can be help for others. That's where I'm headed. Being part of the solution, and I want you to join me. Tonight, I am going to announce another big piece of what I am doing. It is called Mercury 1. I am determined, to my last breath, to fix this country, one person, one family, one child, one entrepreneur, one town at a time. We will preserve man's freedom, one state, one country, one planet at a time. Look for that announcement in the next hour. Go now to glennbeck.com. My final thought, next. I just said to the guys, this was on my set. I bought this a few years ago. This was on my set at the other network. In the end, you only walk out with what you came with. I mean, not in the end. You know, anyway, I want to leave you with something that I think is another first. Maybe it's not. First of all, Sharky, can you bring the blinds up? We'll leave it the way we found it. It is not the person that is leading the parade. It is not the person on the stage that gets all the credit. It is all the people behind them. It's all the people that have made this